Aha. Welcome to OnSet. We are live and the police are coming. So hopefully it takes a while to get up this high in the building, so don't worry, we should be good to go. I'm Daniel Norton. Marissa will be here shortly to model for us, but first I want to take a second to talk a little bit about starting out as a lighting photographer. We're going to focus a little bit on, well, entirely on flash photography today. You can definitely start off using, can you hear it? I wonder if they can hear all that. You can definitely start off using constant light sources like LEDs as well. And maybe we'll talk about that after the beginning of the new year. Thanks everybody who's been watching all year. This is the last live stream of the year. We'll be back in January, right? But don't leave me yet. Seth thinks so.
Could there be more horns right now?
It is the loudest thing ever. I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's crazy. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at a relatively inexpensive but good flash system to start with, something that you can grow with, something that has it's backed by a good company. And we're going to kind of look at it. And I actually, they did not give me this. I went out and bought, because people often ask me, to do some demos with less expensive equipment. So I went out and bought a kit. I looked on Adorama's website. I looked on the Flashpoint brand, which is Adorama's brand, and I located a kit that I thought was pretty good. Now, I already have lighting. If you watch any of these, you know that I use photo lighting primarily, so I don't need lights. So if you've been watching my channel, I've been teaching Marissa, who should be here shortly, how to do light.
You're saying you're low. Your gain low? Is your gain down?
Is my gain low? Game go.
I got you up.
Da 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 do. Let me see. No, I'm practically peeking this thing out. Pop, pop.
I got you high.
Yeah, bring it up to where it's red.
I did.
Oh, okay.
Crank.
Cool. All right, guys, hold on. I'm testing it now. Da, 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 da. Yeah, this is the gain is, well, it is mine. It is minus. Let me try to see if somebody else says that it's, all right, I'm going to bring it up. I'm bringing it up. Bringing it up, but there's nothing that's changing here.
All right, you're loud to me.
All right, that might be really too loud, but let's just see. All right, little audio check there. Da 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 da, Marissa's here. So, oh, nothing but a quality program here on Adorama TV. I don't know where I was at. So, this is Marissa. So Marissa's been joining me on my YouTube channel, Daniel Norton Photographer, for a show we like to call, what's it called?
Mentoring Marissa.
Marissa's becoming a photographer, so she's going to take all my work, which is fine. You got to make room for the young people, you know. And we picked up this lighting kit for Marissa, so she's going to, instead of using my stuff all the time, she's going to start working with her own lights. But today I get to use them first. That's the kind of person I am. I buy somebody lights, and then I use them first. So we're going to work through these lights. I think it's a really great system. It is the, I did put it here on my screen, if Seth is showing that or not, I'm not sure. They are called XPLOR 300 Pro. So these are not the most powerful lights that you can get as far as strobes are concerned. But for portrait photography, you've got to balance whether the amount of power you think you might need with the size and how convenient it is, right? If you have to think about how you're going to operate, are you a permanent studio, or you just you build a studio in your garage, or you have a rent a studio, you can leave big lighting equipment, or do you need to travel around and stuff? And this kit fits, as it's shown in there, in a backpack. So it consists of 2 lights. I happen to have had a 3rd light, so we're going to add that here. But this kit's 2 lights. It's good to start with. A couple of umbrellas, and also, I think this is a slightly different version I have up on the screen because mine came with this easy lock box. So we're going to walk through what we can do with this. We'll create some different portraits of Marissa. We'll show you kind of generally how it works. One thing you do want to remember is that whatever kind of camera you have, you're going to want to pick up a remote for it. The remote is going to allow you to control the lights remotely.
Oh.
Right?
Yes.
Thus the name remote. So people often ask me, how much power do I need? Whatever. I think this is a good place to be. There are less powerful ones. I think they're 100 or something. Those are probably fine as like supplemental lights. There's more powerful lights you can get, 600s and stuff like that. Those are fine if you're doing more commercial work, but I think for a portrait photographer, this level of power should be more than enough. So these are literally brand new. We haven't used them at all. I just unpacked them, so we're going for it. I'm using, by the way, of course, I will say all the equipment we're using because that's the point. But also I'm using a Nikon Z6 II over here. On top I have this Flashpoint remote, the one for Nikon. It's called the R2 remote.
It's the Pro.
It's the R2 Pro. because, you know,
Because pro.
Marissa's a pro. So the one thing that obviously C-stands are big and heavy, so they might be difficult for traveling around. So one thing that I definitely recommend, and I think this kit has them, are these small portable stands. We're not going to use them today because I'm in the studio, but they've got the legs that fold up, which means they can fit in a lot of really tight spaces, which is really nice. Boy, this is really new, huh? And you can put them, you know, up on their tippy toes a little bit to fit them into corners. You can put them flat and throw weight on them if you need to, but you know, generally you want to put them right there. And these are pretty tall, like 7 feet or something like that, so more than enough, unless you're shooting really, really, really tall people. I mean, if you're shooting people that are over 7 feet tall, then you might need a slightly taller stand, but these are pretty tall. So this should be more than sufficient. A couple of umbrellas. Umbrellas are great tools that we can use. And of course, other things you can add to your kit, which we're gonna work with a little bit, is some reflector board that you can pick up. All right, so without further ado, make sure that you ask questions. If I'm going too fast or too slow, let me know and we'll make some pictures, right? Somewhere in the middle to give, you know, adjust the speed. We'll get it good. So we'll start with one light and we'll kind of go from there. I'm not sure where people are at, so we're gonna kind of start very basic. This is not intro to Flash, but we'll do some of that stuff. So why are we using Flash over, let's say, constant light? Or why do we want to light at all is the first question that I would have. And that's going to influence what you buy. What do you want to light for? Is it a portrait, like I was just saying, like, or is it going to be commercial work? Is it going to be product work? That will help you decide like what kind of modifiers, what kind of lighting you want. Because we're looking at portraits here, we know we want to be able to control our space, right? So we see this place is lit. We want to be able to remove the light from the space, if you will, right? So that it'll become, we can, you know, basically control the light. So we're going to get rid of all the lights. We want to be powerful enough for that. And we want to be able to be versatile with them. So we want a lot of accessories that we can add to them and stuff. And these have their own mount. It's kind of a, I don't know what the mount is called, but it's a smaller mount.
They call it a direct mount.
Direct mount. So it's got a direct mount. It comes with, thank you, Seth. It comes with a little reflector thing here. So you can just shoot it like that, or you can use it bare bulb. I don't know how you can see this, but I'll probably put it right here, right? So Marissa's like, how does it? So it's got a little mount. It almost looks like a miniature Bowens mount. You can do this. You get a little reflector, okay? Or you can do a bare bulb if you're going to put it in a softbox or something. We can use umbrellas. It'll basically attach right here, which we're going to work with. And they also make an adapter so you can use the full-size stuff like the Bowens, right? It's a very inexpensive mount for that. So you've got a lot of versatility with these. Like I said, they are controlled remotely. There's many channels, and channels are important because if you're working with a lot of people, and these are popular lights, so it might be. And also there's groups up to E, so you've got a lot of versatility of control, and again, we'll talk about that as we go. All right, so that's the place, let's just make a portrait, right? So let's start with an umbrella. So, number one, let's talk about how light works and TTL and all this a little bit, just to kind of get us where we're at. Oh, by the way, I'm in capture one here, so when we shoot pictures, you'll see them come up. All right. So on top of my camera is a remote, as I mentioned. And what this is going to do is allow me to fire the lights. And I can fire them either in manual, meaning that they will stay set at the power that I desire. So let's say I set them at half power or something like that. Or I can set them into TTL. So what TTL is through the lens metering. And what that's going to do is the light itself will work with the camera's metering system to create a proper exposure. So this one's the B light. I've got it turned on now. What I'm actually going to do is come to my camera and I'm going to turn off all of the lights because we're going to start with no lights. Okay. So in theory, they should, if they're all off. I'm pressing this S button, I'm getting nothing. I'm going to set my camera in a way that I will eliminate the light in the space. So what that means is I'm going to set it at its the lowest ISO within the normal range, which is 100. Okay, sure. Yeah. Yeah, we had that because it was a lot of light coming through the window earlier, but that is not the case anymore. It is the winter. Well, not technically yet, right? So it is, so 100 ISO, lowest ISO within the normal range. We're setting it at 200th of a second, which is the normal flash sync for this camera. And then as far as f-stop, I just want to set it closed down enough to eliminate the light in the space. There's one simple way to do it is just to take the remote off the top of the camera. It's just, I got a mirrorless camera, I'm just looking through here and I'll adjust my f-stop until it looks dark. I'm at 5.6. This looks pretty dark to me. If I take a photo, we'll see in Capture One that we have a black frame. This black frame, if we grab our adjustments here, we can grab our exposure adjuster. I'll bring it up. I want to be underexposed. Yeah, over 2 stops underexposed. That's very good for me. I'm going to take a quick drink. Sorry, guys. I've been talking a lot today.
Yeah, coat those vocal cords in Coke.
I would have liked to... I apologize. I would have liked to have had coffee, but nobody got me coffee. So, all right.
I'll get you coffee next time.
Thanks, Marissa. All right. I put the remote on top. What's it? All right. I put the remote on top. I'm going to turn it on TTL. So what TTL is going to do is it's going to make a reading for me. And that reading, hopefully, will be the one we want. Because remember, metering is kind of, it's going to get you where it thinks is correct. You are the photographer. You decide the exposure, right? So first we'll do this. We'll check the exposure. Let me put it in a better position. You know, there was this painter. I can't remember the name.
Was it Rembert?
Remberger.
Byron?
All right, so boom, right? Perfect exposure. This is why you want flash. I'm sure you're buying it just based on that image alone. All right, but see we can control our space. And when we do that, of course I shot really quickly to catch Marissa being funny, so I was out of focus. But when we do that,
You have to catch
yeah,
that.
right. When we do that, there we go, even better. When we do that, what we get is, yeah, it looks crazy out of focus. Did
Oh, you want to touch?
No, I just turned it off. There we go. That's a better one. Okay, so we can see that we have a good exposure now, right? So good exposure does not mean good photo. I think that a lot of times people buy lights because they think, well, I need lights because it's dark and that's what I want lights for. But lighting is not about getting a proper exposure. At least that's not the main reason, right? The reason why we light is because we want to create the light that we want to set the mood in our image. So these lights are going to allow us to create what we want to create, not just shoot what's here. I could easily just raise the ISO and be able to make an image of her here. It will look terrible because these are terrible LED lights that I bought at the hardware store. So, they're not, you know, it is what it is. But we can create the light that we like. So what we want to do first is make our light source. For a portrait, generally we want to make it bigger and we want to make it more diffuse. So bigger because that makes it softer. And soft will help deal with, like, for instance, these shadows here. We can see that this shadow has a very abrupt edge, right? Very abrupt edge equals hard. We want the edge to feather off and be softer, thus making our source larger. The other thing that we might get, although Marissa's remarkably not that shiny today, but a little bit on her nose. So we also can get a lot of shine on people with a small and punchy light source like this. So by putting the light through diffusion, we can help reduce that. So there is a diffused umbrella in this kit. I know.
Do you know what size of dish that is?
That is the glow thing. I had the bag.
Yeah. On the side of that dish.
25.5.
25.5 centimeters.
That means that avoids centimeters, maybe in inches.
Right. Okay. All right, we're going to use that in a second. So first we're going to start with the umbrella. This is a diffused umbrella or a diffusion umbrella or a shoot-through umbrella or a translucent umbrella. This is by Godox. This one's called UBL, probably for umbrella, 085T. By the way, is also my locker combination in high school. Weird. All right, anyways. All right. So, all right. So we're gonna put the umbrella towards Marissa, right? Because it's a shoot-through umbrella. You could use it the other way if you wanted. What would end up happening is light would bleed through. It would still bounce back if you want to use it as a bouncy umbrella, but it's really made for this. Okay, so we're going to take our umbrella. We're going to put it in here. This is going to make our light source larger and more diffuse. We'll pretty much keep it in the same spot, but not only is the light source bigger because it's inside of an umbrella now, but it's also closer to her, which makes it even more bigger, more bigger.
More bigger.
More bigger. All right, so good. And because we are adding, wow, I'm catching you in the best spots because we've added.
I'm a professional model.
Let's try this again.
I'm
Wow.
professional looking.
I do this for a living.
This is my job. All right, so, sorry. All right, so right, what we're going to get here is a softer light, right, on Marissa. And basically what we've got here is already a much more pleasing light. Just adding that umbrella, her eyes look big and bright because we've got that catch light there. This shadow is more diffuse. Oh, that's really big. The shadow back on the wall is more diffuse. It's still there, but it's more diffuse. Everything is just beautiful. Now, we like this, right? Diffused umbrella, it's really good, really useful. We're getting a little bit of light on the wall in the back, so everything looks good there. We could do any number of things with our second light if we want. But before we do that, let's just see what we can do with one light. Because I always feel like, even though we have two lights, and we definitely want to use two because the more lights you use, the more you're going to get paid. However, it's always good to kind of see what you can get with just adding something simple. We have this foam board here. This is a Brooklyn reflector.
More expensive than everything.
Yep, more expensive than anything else. Handcrafted. The only thing with this is it won't fit in the bag.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, not with that attitude.
You have to buy a separate Brooklyn reflector carrying case.
It's called trash.
Made by Glad. Okay, so, all right, here we go.
Okay, new stuff. Okay.
All right.
Jeez, man.
Sorry. I can't let her get away with laughing. All right, so, boom. Now we've got nice filled in shot. I actually took two, and, oh, I took two and the second one was up. So, what did I do? Yeah, there we go. So we've got a nice filled in shot. What is going on here with this? My computer is acting all kinds of funny. I think it's not catching up with my, I might restart capture one. Yeah. Nice filled in, nice and even, nice, right? Now, that's cool. But we also have a second umbrella as part of this kit, which we can use as, let's say, a separation light. You could use it for any number of things. You could use it for the background, but let's use it for a separation light. So separation, or often called a hair light, but some of us don't have that much hair. So, you know, like separation light, the hotspot light. This is gonna, this is gonna basically give her some three-dimensionality. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take our second light here, and we're going to take our second umbrella, which is a silver umbrella. Yeah. This one is UBL 85S.
Man, such marketing.
I know. I'm doing a good job. Normally I forget to say what stuff is by now, but I'm on a roll. All right, I'm going to put my little reflector dome thing back on because I had taken it off earlier. I'm going to put this guy on here. This is silver. Well, you can't show the silver umbrella that we have to. All right. Slide this guy in. Here we go.
Oh, no, you tighten.
All right, so I got the thing here. I want to get a perfect angle. All right, perfect. Notice how when you move the umbrella, you should always twirl it. Twirling is important. All right, so we've got our umbrella here, and what we want to do, we're gonna turn this light on. I'm gonna do everything from the remote because that's what cool people do. So I hit mode. Right now it's off, so I'll hit TTL again. TTL, when used like from the back like this, can be a little bit tricky because it will oftentimes, the light will flare into the camera. So we'll see where we're gonna get with an exposure. It's always good to give it a chance, but I have a feeling we're gonna have to adjust it slightly. So we wanna move our umbrella out of the shot. We wanna project our light forward. And what we're gonna do is take a shot and see what we get. So far, the TTL has been really good. I did not. We'll just cut this part out in editing.
Cut this out of the live stream.
I think because I had it asleep for so long, it just turned itself off. It's a battery saving feature of this light.
This is acting all haywire.
Or I never turned it on. There it is. Okay.
Hang on, I can't see it. Hang on.
Okay.
Well, this is really.
Oh, we're having all kinds of issues today, technical issues. Sorry, guys.
Whoa,
Was Sling Studio going crazy?
Yeah. I got you. Go.
Okay. All right, so we can see TTL is like, hey, this is the right exposure, right? Sorry, buddy. You tried, but that's not it, right? This is a little much, right? So,
It's actually reflecting off of your key light.
yeah, and it's also reflecting off the key light, giving us fill, which is, like a filled key, if that makes sense. We're gonna move the light. First of all, it's in the shot a little bit. Let's do one thing at a time. We'll move this over more. Okay. Then I'm gonna come over to my remote, and when you're doing TTL exposure, you can make adjustments. And what you're gonna do is effectively you're saying, hey TTL, I appreciate the work that you do and the effort that you put into this, but for my personal taste, I would like this to be a little bit lighter.
We had one last stream to get through for the year.
This is how we end the year. Oh, okay, Marissa.
Just cut that part out.
Okay, nobody saw that. All right, so what you do is you tell TTL, hey, meter it the way you're doing it, but then give me a little bit less, in this case, or more light. So this is pretty bright, so I'm actually telling it to give me 3 stops less light. So I basically set my TTL at -3. This TTL here on the key light in the front, I'm keeping at 0 because that looked pretty good. We'll frame this up so it'll look more glamorous with this light. There we go. All right, 3 stops might have been too much. All right, let me drop this guy. I'm going to take the backlight and bring it back to where it was. Well, I'm going to bring it down just 1 stop because it did not, 3 stops was just way too much. All right, here we go. Okay, 1 stop is probably still needs more finessing, but we can see this is better.
It's bouncing off the 4th wall.
Yeah, we're getting it bounced over here too. I think we're getting fill. So I'm in a white space. So I'm cheating a little bit, right? What's happening is we're getting this light is like, oh, and then you can't see it, but over here there's a white wall and it's like whoosh.
I just see you running across the screen.
And it comes back and fills in. So we're getting this. No, he doesn't have the camera on me when I'm doing that, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, don't. All right. But basically, I've got a white wall over there, so we're getting a little fill, which I actually like, so we're rolling with it. When we're lighting, especially if you have not a huge arsenal of lighting, like we just have 2 lights here, you want to take every advantage you can get. So for me, seeing that I can bounce the light off the wall behind me or just works out really well. If you did not have a white wall there, it would be simple enough.
The white wall gets you drunk.
Yeah.
I know, I was like,
It would be simple enough just to take a reflector card and put it here. Yeah, because keep in mind that, oh, God, that was loud. A lot of times when people are using a reflector, they'll be like, I'm using a reflector. But you want to think about where your light's coming from, right? So if I want to reflect this light, the reflector will go here. But since I want to reflect this light, my reflector is going to go here. You could also, if you had a 3rd light, you could put that here, right? That'd be a fill light. We'll get a 3rd light eventually. But this is a nice clean expression here. What I am seeing on the background is a little bit of like this area here. This looks like it's probably the bleed off from the umbrella, but you didn't notice until I said something, so we're not gonna worry about it.
It's actually the umbrella. You see how it's a perfect shape in the umbrella?
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna put a silver reflector for fill in the front and see what we get, because we're getting super glamorous here. It must be that, Marissa borrowed this shirt from David Byrne from the Talking Heads.
wait, take another one.
Yeah, you're getting a shadow from the umbrella.
Yeah, from the umbrella, right?
Yeah, I put on the Monolight and see what's casting.
All right, let's put the modeling light on. Seth is testing me to see if I know how to put the modeling light on. This is a test that I will fail.
From the unit.
All right, there is a way to do it. Here we go, mod. So I hit A, mod. Nope. Hold on, maybe I don't do it that way.
Why do you listen to me?
No, I like it. All right, we're going, there it is. There's the modeling light. So I'm going to turn off the lights in the space, guys. It's going to be dark for a second.
Yeah, you can see the sheet
On the wall, right? Yeah, the silver umbrella. Well, I think what's happening here.
You need to focus in this umbrella.
Right.
This one. It's blitzing past it.
Oh, careful. All right, so what's happening is we're getting light spill past this. What you're saying? All right, we'll try that. Also, by the way, when we turned the lights off, and I was just looking at the way it looked, it actually kind of looked nice when it was a little more contrasty. So Daniel's going to change a couple things. Let's just do this first before we. There we go. That's real pretty. That's real pretty. Her eyes are nice and blue. She's got that hair light, very classic hair light. She's got the strange shirt that's hypnotizing us all. I was going to change something, but I actually really like it. So what did we do there? I basically just took the umbrella and slid it closer to the strobe itself so that we didn't get so much light kind of bleeding past it. Because remember, your strobe, it's throwing the light forward, but it's not like it's a precise circle. It does spread out. So sometimes the modeling lights can be really useful for that. We don't want to run them forever, though, because that will burn up the battery. There we go. Now I know how to turn them off. Okay, oh, another blank. There it is. We're going for the blinks today.
Jeez.
All right, let's play around with this a little bit. Let's have a little fun.
That is
Yes.
All right.
You can't just snap away.
All right. I'm going to take my key light, and I'm going to actually.
You know you feel like the beat, right?
Yeah, I know I have them back, but it's fine. I'm going to take my key light, and I'm going to actually make it a little. I'm going to close down my lens. So no, I'll leave it in TTL. I like playing around TTL. I'm going to give my key light a little bit more oomph. So that's my B light. I'm just going to give it a +3 because I kind of want to glamorize this a little bit. Sometimes it's good to give a little pop of overexposure. Plus, I want to kind of play around with how the TTL works. Yeah, there we go. All right. Nice and crisp. Again, the room itself is acting like a fill, so we don't really need a fill anywhere. And with only 2 lights, we're able to bang it out. Let's try the opposite, right? Let's see what we can do with this kit. Let's mix it up a little bit. Instead of being all soft and pretty, let's go, and let's use the silvered umbrella as the key light. I know what you're saying in that book that you picked up in 1974. It was like, never use silver umbrella. And make sure to always use Dectol developer. Okay. We're going to make a beauty shot because I always feel like silver is kind of more glamorous, where it's always good for a beauty shot. So I'm going to, actually I'm not going to do that. I was going to use the boom function of the C-stand, but you know what? No. I'm not going to because you wouldn't have that with the kit. So you know what? We're not going to do that. We're working with what you would have because I like to play by the rules. Yep.
I was asking if you mentioned you create no matter what when you're ready for it.
The one that's coming up? Aha, okay. Sure.
And what's the flash power? These are 300.
These are the flash power, these are 300 watt seconds. So that's pretty powerful. Like I said, there is a 100 watt second version as well. But I feel like those are probably more extra lights. If you want to really take control of your situation, I think 300 is probably a good place to be. You can always add the 100s later. Okay, so whenever we're setting up lights, we want to always start with 1 and then add. So I'm going to take, this is now I'm switching them up. So the light in the front's the A light. So I'm going to turn off the B light. So you just hit mode here. Done. Okay. All right, so this is just the silver umbrella with TTL. Oh.
Ooh.
Now, somebody in the chat probably knows why that's dark. I knew as soon as I pressed the button, but I was testing you all. Remember, I set the CTL at -1 earlier, so let me put it back to 0. All right. There we go. Okay, this silver umbrella is really tight. Like I said, I have not used this stuff before. I've literally just opened it. I don't think people believe me when I say that. We literally just opened up this stuff. All right, so looking like here, chin up a little bit because it's going to be punchy. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow, that's really dramatic. Look at the drama. Now, because it's so punchy and dramatic, it's dark, I feel like it looks kind of muddy. So I'm definitely going to overexpose this one slightly. We'll do that before we go too far. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do.
What are you about to do?
There's a question about how to set the umbrella height with the model.
Okay, so how do we set the umbrella height with the model? This is a good question. Generally speaking, you're going to want to put your light source, the center of your light source anyways, above the model's eyes. This is a really general thing. It kind of has to do with how far away it is as well. The closer it is to somebody, the lower it needs to be relative. Because if I take this light and I put it right up close to her now, it would be too high and it would throw too much shadow. If I lowered it and moved it in, it would look better. If I move it even further back, I'll have to raise it up even more. Because you have to think that the light's going to kind of come down at an angle. And you want it to be coming, you know, like at an angle like this to the face. It's kind of a diagonal. You don't want it to come down. You don't want it straight at the face. That'd be too flat. And you don't want it to be too high because then you'll get dark shadows, right? Think about when you shoot outside in the day, right? Like at the end of the day when the sun's kind of low in the sky but not all the ways down. That's generally when it's going to look the best. Yeah, see that? Marissa's making a note. Okay, good. But what we're going to do here, so I won't forget, Monday, it's happening Monday, right? Monday they're going to release my video, hopefully. I think it's Monday. I'm telling you it's Monday now. We are about to do a Create No Matter What challenge for December. It is going to be cinematic, right?
Holiday.
Cinematic holiday. And we may or may not have shot the picture for it yesterday. And by we, meaning myself and Marissa. And it was pretty cool.
It may or may not.
And you are going to be able to make an amazing shot. I'm going to talk a little bit about how you might do that, what the contest rules are and stuff, and you can win a Panasonic camera kit. I think they said the value is about $3,000. You are not allowed to enter. Marissa. Adorama.com/create no matter what to see the contest. It should start on Monday, I believe, but you can go there now. What's that? And it's US only, unfortunately. If you are overseas and you win it, you can give the camera to Marissa or no. I don't. That's probably not true, so I'll take that back. All right, so that's going to be super fun. Look forward to that. That was really fun, although it was very cold.
Freezing.
And you know that once we finished, it snowed.
I did.
It would have been very cool if it had happened. Well, you'll see. So yeah. Hint, we used my car. And that's the second time for trivia fans that Marissa has been in my car in an Adorama video.
It's only the second. No, third, technically. Well, because we drove to the one where I got poison ivy on my face.
Remember, we didn't use the car in the thing though, did we?
Well, it's in the video, briefly.
When Marissa got poison ivy on her face. I'm not going to say anything about that.
You got to explain what you just did.
Okay, so I just had to do that because I made her laugh. Okay, so I haven't done anything yet, but I'm about to. So I moved this light over here in front. Oh, sorry. Okay, this is our key, right? Punchy, silver, kind of rough. I want to add a little bit of a fill. So I'm going to use this diffused umbrella as a fill light from the front. I'm going to basically bring it in. And, you know, when I do this with the umbrellas, you want to make kind of like a fun pattern. So it looks cool, like if you're doing a live stream. No, you want to keep it roughly. This light I don't want it the same angle because it's my fill light, right? I want it to fill the shadows. But I don't want it to be too low because that will look awkward. So this I'm going to want to put more or less camera height, right? Sometimes called on-access fill, roughly. Oh, the Cadillac from, I wish I owned that.
That's Daniel's car.
I wish. Okay, so, all right, so I'm going to take the B light. I can totally see this with my glasses on, but for some reason when you get old, you have to put your glasses on top of your head. So later on, I'll ask where my glasses are. All right, so I'm going to turn this light on because it wasn't on before, and then we're going to shoot it in straight from the front, and it should give us a bit of a fill. For now, I'm going to leave it at TTL -1 because it's my fill light, right? And typically, you want your fill light to be a little bit down. Now, you might be saying, but Daniel, the first shot's a little bit dark. I thought you were going to adjust that. Well, that's kind of what I'm going to do here because when I add this light to the front, it's going to bring up the whole image. If it's still too dark, we'll adjust from there. Also, by the way, another point here, because we were just talking about positioning the light. because this is silver light, it is actually kind of focused. And you can see in this shot that I just made now, where I did a quick goofy shot 'cause she was laughing, it's actually aimed lower than it should be. It's aimed closer to her chest because it's almost like a focused light there. So I actually have to raise it a little bit higher than you normally would because I can actually see that. So we're going to raise this up a bit. And again, what can help you here is the modeling lights if you want to use them. Just be wary about using them too much if you're running battery power and you have to go for more than an hour live stream. All right. I mean, assuming you're doing a live stream for Adorama. It's a very particular case. Okay, good. All right. There we go. All right, so the CTL is working really well. We've got this punchy glamour feel to the light, but we don't have those harsh shadows that we have here because they're essentially filled in, right? Here's our shadows. They're still there. They're just filled in. And I can fill them as much or as little as I want by adjusting my ratio using the TTL, right? So right now, that's one stop under is where it's set. I could make it more to get more shadows. So let's say I want to go a stop and a half under. And you know, the correct thing is whatever you think works for the subject you have in front of you. It really depends on the subject is how much you want to fill it in. So I'm going to fill it in 1.7. I used to have an old Olympus, it was an Olympus, rangefinder that had a 1.7 lens.
Ooh.
It's really nice, yeah. If everybody knows what Olympus that is, let me know. Oh, wow, she got evil there.
I feel myself blinking.
Wow, she got evil on that one. She was like, Olympus. She is not like anybody but Gavin.
Why am I so blinky today?
You're very blinky today. All right. There we go. Now we can see that because I've adjusted my ratio, you see how much more dramatic the shadows are? And also she got all pointy with her eyes. I actually like it flatter. So for me, this is a little bit too harsh, so I'm gonna go back to where I was. Because remember, even though I set it at 1.7, it's 1.7 under, right? Which means I actually underexposed it by 7/10 of a stop more. Okay, so we'll come back to our regular exposure. Now, guys, when you're doing this, if you find what works, I went back to where I was. Well, if you find what works, then you can then, you know, throw this thing on manual so it stays locked in so it doesn't change. If you're going to have them moving around a lot and you're going to move the lights around a lot, keep it in TTL. That's kind of what you want to do there. This looks good. So now we've got a little bit of a different shot, right? So we got this one. We got this one. They're both Marissa. I know. That's what we're stuck with. All right, but let's say that you get this and you're just like, hey, I have my umbrellas and it's really good. And I got my lights. This is my first lighting kit. But my photographer friend that bought this for me is really nice. And they also got me a Easy Lock 25.5-inch deep parabolic softbox. Not only is this softbox parabolic, it is also deep. So you can sit around and like discuss the universe with it. Okay. No, so these are really cool, right? So it's parabolic, so it's going to be very even. So this is another good light for something like a beauty light or a portrait. So let's go ahead and make this our key light. I like the silver. It was really good. It did. You know what? I'm going to cheat a little bit because, you know, that's what I do. I have a third light, which I'm going to use here. That way I don't have to take that one off the stand because eventually we're going to get to a third light, right? Because everybody knows the more lights you use, the more money you make. And three-point lighting, you know, we've all seen that before. You get 3 points for your lighting. Okay. So again, this is another unit, a third unit. This one's in my C group. We're turning it on. It's got a little on-off on the back. Makes a little beepy sound. Throw the softbox on there in a very awkward way while we're live streaming. This is exactly how you shouldn't do it. No, you really should put the softbox on before you put it on the stand. But these are Marissa's lights, so I don't care. All right, so I'm gonna do a kind of a 45-degree light on this one as well. Even though I said it would be good for beauty, and it would, I feel like we just did a beauty-ish thing, so I'm gonna come back over and do kind of more classic 45. Now when you're doing this kind of stuff, typically we wanna move our light in as close as we can. So again, we're talking height, right? Center of the light, above her eyes, right? But not too high. And because it's close, it's lower than it would be if we were further away. I'm just gonna keep looking at my camera. I wanna make sure it's not in the shot. It actually looks a little bit low. You don't want it to be too high because then you'll get too much bounce on the forehead. That looks pretty good. Okay, so even though it's in the shot, I'm turning this off temporarily with my fill, right? So I'm gonna go in here, and I'm gonna take my A light. Again, you can do all this from the remote. I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna take my B light, turn it off, and then I'm gonna take my C light, which is this light, and I'm gonna turn it on. TTL at 0, right? Which means it's going to figure out what exposure it thinks is correct, and that's what it's gonna give me. No adjustment to start with. My camera settings have not changed. Good. Oh, nice.
Ooh.
That's pretty good, right? All right, so whenever you're buying something, you want something that says deep and parabolic. That's the key. No, so here we go, right? This is a nice clean light. It's very, very even. It's 25 inches, so it's not huge, but for a headshot, it's very much a soft light. You've got a little bit of an edge to it, but it's very much soft light. So let's come in again. Let's get one.
Would you change the height of the lights for a full body shot?
Do we change the height of the light for a full body shot? If it's really close like this, yeah, I mean, no, you wouldn't. It depends on, okay, so it depends on what you're trying to do. If you want to light somebody evenly, you wouldn't have the light this close, right? Unless it was a really big light. And if that was the case, then you wouldn't change it. You'd put it so that your light is basically covering them full length. If you were trying to light them full length with this light, you would have to back it up, which means you'd have to raise it. Yes, so yeah, you don't really want to put a full length light like right next to them. I've seen people do that before. That works for a separation light, but personally, I don't want the key light on a person to be the same, to be below their eye line. It typically doesn't look right. So you want the height of the light above their eyes. It doesn't have to be the middle of the light, but it needs to be in general above their eyes if you want it to look natural. So the short answer is, this light, if I was going to do full length, would I raise it or lower it? Yes, I would raise it because I'd have to bring it further away, right? If I took a full length shot of her right now, she would be dark below the waist. Okay. All right, so here we are, right? The light's in a good spot. Also, I wouldn't use this light for a full length shot. I guess that goes without saying. It's too small, right? We want a big light for a full length shot. Typically, you want it to be as big as possible, 5-foot octa, something like that, and then you would have it, you know, like here and slightly above them, and it would be even.
Yeah, but the 2 light key, you could
You could take 2 of them and stack them, if that's what you had. But if I was going to do that, I would invest in another matching umbrella so that it would be even. Yeah. But you could do that as well. Yes, Seth has a good point. If you only had 2 lights, if you had exactly this kit and you were trying to shoot somebody full length and you didn't want it to be hard, really, the light, you could maybe splurge on one more umbrella. I'd probably get another translucent, and you could stack the lights one on top of each other. We can actually do that. We'll stack the lights, although I don't have matching umbrellas. We'll do that in a second. So with this kind of light, we're going to have her kind of work into the light a little bit. Yep, like that. Looks really pretty. This is definitely a nice light for your kind of more, you know, fashion-y or more kind of punchy portraits. Give it a nice 3-dimensionality to it. I am using this with just the light itself. That does come with diffusion and a grid, so you can actually really shape it out if I wanted the background to go dark or whatever. This looks really nice. Let's come in and remember what we learned before. Let's bring a hair light in. I don't think we need a fill light. I want that shadow. I think people are afraid of shadows, and you should not be, because if you were to fill that shadow in all the way, you're basically, why are you even bothering to use the light?
Why aren't you using a light meter?
Why am I not using a light meter? I am using a light meter. It is right here inside the camera. Through the lens metering. That's what TTL means. It's using the meter in my camera. So I am using a light meter. Why am I not using a handheld light meter? Because I have TTL. If I didn't have TTL, I would need to use a handheld light meter. Okay, so once again, I'm moving this just out of my shot. Here I'm going to use the diffused umbrella as my hair light. It's my preference to use a softer light as a hair light because hair tends to have a glow to it anyways because of the oils. So when you hit it with the silver umbrella, it's going to be more punchy. Because this is a more kind of subtle shot, I don't want that, so I'm actually going to use a soft light for my hair light. I'm also going to raise it up a little higher. Go ahead, sorry.
I think I understand this, but for the full-length shot, would you use 2 diffusers on the softbox to make it softer?
For a full length, I use 2 diffusers on the softbox to make it softer. No, diffusion does not make something softer. Diffusion makes something.
Bigger.
Diffusion makes things
Diffused.
diffused, exactly. Right, but she's right. To make it softer, you need to make it bigger, right? So putting diffusion on the softbox doesn't, by its nature, make it bigger. So that wouldn't make it softer. It would make it more diffuse, which is, yeah, you got it. Marissa's got it. All right. So this is the B light. I'm gonna turn it on. I'll show you the full length in a second, guys. Let me just do this. Finish my thought here. All right. So again, I'm gonna set this hair light at 0 just to start.
Advantages of a parabolic over an octabox.
Huh. Advantages of a parabolic over an octabox. Well, a parabolic is more round, so people like that, especially catch light people. People that love catch lights love, wow.
I did not feel myself. I totally.
She is the blinker today.
What's going on with you? Come on, kid.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Last one of the year. What are you doing?
Oh, man. We've been working Marissa too hard today.
I'm so tired. I didn't even feel myself blink, truly.
Will you mistreat her so much?
I do. All right, here we go. All right, good. Here we go.
I did not blink that time.
All right, so
She's like this.
what we have created here is terrible.
You're getting a lot of skip off the floor, too.
Yeah, this umbrella is causing the light to just be everywhere, and that's not what we want. That's not good. So let's change this. We're going to change this up. I'm going to do exactly the opposite of what I just said, because sometimes you got to do the opposite of what you said. And I'm just going to use the bare head. Well,
It's not there. It's got a reflector on
well, it's got a little reflector on it, yeah. Okay, so there's a couple things I didn't like there. So let me just say why it's terrible, just in case people are looking at it and going, that's not terrible. Every shot of Marissa's good. All right.
it. It's been about 600 times.
So why is this not great? I mean, even Marissa can see this is great. The light is bouncing around everywhere, okay? It's making the image flat. We're losing the shadow that's on her left side, which is making her face seem wider for no particular reason. And we had this beautiful, moody portrait, and then we went to that, okay? That is, right, we don't want that.
My face is so fat.
It looks so fat, right? It's terrible. I mean, it's fine. It's fine if that's what you look like, but we know that she looks like that, right? So this is not the light for her. And that's because there's way too much light bouncing around. Yeah. All right, sorry.
Maybe that's it.
It's Marissa's fault. All right, now, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the opposite of what I said. I'm gonna try to keep that light smaller to see if we can stop it. I might have put a black card there or something. All right, we don't wanna get too fancy here. We're trying to keep this minimalistic today. So we might just go for the shot. I did not like it. I was just trying to, cash in on the more lights.
Can you reinforce that you're using the kit only?
Yeah, I'm using the kit only except for the C-stands, because that's what I have here. Ah, see, already that's better. It's still not exactly what I want, but you see how that's better? Now what we can do is, we need a black card or something, right? Yeah, we need a black card. I need a flag.
I did make a black card.
All right, we're gonna use, foam core is allowed. I don't have to bust out shirts again. We have done that. I'm going in the closet. Yeah. If there's anything, if there's anything that you should learn by watching this is that you should never follow the rules. The rule is to only use the kit, but I might bust out that flag because we need it. What do you think about that? No, I don't think you'll be able to do that.
Oh,
Maybe. Can you
Okay,
hold? Really?
right here?
Yeah. All right.
The shear's heavy.
She's a pro.
Oh, wait, do it again. I can do it better.
Whoa, Marissa.
I can do it again. I can do it again.
That was garbage.
I wasn't ready. I wasn't.
That is next level.
All right, here we go.
So saying why not use a grid?
Why not use a grid? I don't have a grid. Okay, nope, garbage. All right, so sometimes good enough is good enough, right? We had it at the beginning, it looked good. We'll just pretend this happened. Didn't happen. What's funny is, you know, sometimes you want to add more lights because you're like, I can add more lights. But the reality is that sometimes one light is all you need. And you can watch my one light course.
Well, you can dial that thing down to death.
It could, but it won't give you what I want. I'm not going to spend all time futzing with it. All right, so it's good the way it is. I'm happy. I mean, yes, that's making me feel bad about not making it work. Fine, I will do it.
Because you're better than this. Like you're getting lazy.
Well, I didn't want to.
Come on.
Okay.
These are-
Seth is egging me on.
I came in for you here. Come on.
You did come in, I know.
You need me on my way to these apple boxes.
Oh,
Look
oh,
at this guy. Look at this guy.
Let it look that way for me.
yeah.
Oh, man. I'm trying not to use too much extra stuff. All right. It's going to make the background lit up, though, isn't it?
No, it's going to come in. You're going to see a line on the background.
Yeah. Hmm.
I would have just dialed it down.
All right. We'll dial it down. With what, silver umbrella, you think?
No, raw.
Oh, raw. Okay.
Or you can just bounce off the floor.
Bounce off the floor. Well, I'm trying not to make the background too bright either.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So,
You barely need anything out of that light.
yeah, that's true. I think it's just giving us too much juice. Once again, Seth is correct.
One day you'll learn.
One day I will learn, but that day is not today.
One day, Padawan, you will challenge me.
All right. All right, I'm going 3 stops down on this thing. Actually, I'm going to go manual. I'm going manual, and I'm going to bring it into 1/64th power. Oh, good. Oh, yeah, there we go.
See, eyes open. See?
The eyes open when the camera was like falling over. Good, good, good. Good. Sorry. I was picking my eye. You can switch the eyes pretty easily. Once again, Seth is correct.
Look at that.
It was a power thing.
What'd you take? To a stop and a half out of it?
I brought it down to 1/64th power.
What were we at before?
I have no idea. TTL. Okay, so. I mean, I was using TTL. All right, so what happened here? I was trying to just use TTL, and you know, sometimes you got to learn to step away from it. You need somebody like Seth to be like, Daniel, come on.
Come on.
You're better than this. And there I am, better. So what we did here is we just took this backlight, bare bulb, reflector, almost all the ways down power-wise, okay? Just to give us that hint, because what was happening is just like before, all the light was coming over here, bouncing, coming back. It was a mess. So much better. There we go. Now if we can actually get like a good, so give us like a, all right, let me, somehow Marissa got taller as well. Okay, that's good.
Get it, girl, get it.
See, this is why I'm laughing and all the photos.
You're always giggling.
No, Marissa's very serious. All right, so let's make another quick adjustment. That key light now is also too bright.
Wait, what just happened? Did it just change itself?
Yeah, the key light was on TTL. All right, so I'm bringing the key light down.
What meter are you on?
Matrix. All right,
That's probably why.
I'm going to take the key light, which is the C light, and I'm going to dial it down a stop to start with. All right. I think part of this too is that my angle of the camera is good. Okay, here we go. All right, so I'm still in TTL, but I dial it down and stop. This is probably gonna be too dark actually, but I just want to get it somewhere where I like it. Okay, good, that's not terrible. And then now it's a smidge dark. So now I'm actually gonna switch to, now I'll leave it where it is. I was gonna switch to manual and get all funky, but I think what I'm gonna do instead is just go up a tiny bit. So now I'm at -0.7, TTL on the key light, which is the first light, the front light I should say, the parabolic. And then I'm at manual power, 1/64th power on the hair light. There we go. Okay, beautiful. Clean, clean, clean.
I know, I'm looking up so my eyes don't look like so.
Mr. Clean, yeah. All right. Give us that Marissa charm. There we go. So, nice and clean. right? Got a little mood to it, keeps that beautiful shape to her face, gives us that hair light that's subtle, right? And we're just using two modifiers. We've got our parabolic umbrella, basically, and we've got our bare head, right? So just two simple lights, easy. Let's do the full length shots. I know people love full length shots. And you know what? It's the end of the year. I'm very nice. Stand like on this X maybe for me. Okay. Marissa's standing on the X. So you are faced with the situation where you want to make a full length shot, but you don't want it to be too garbagey, and you only have these two kids. So. Because really, I mean, you could light a full-length shot, which is about anything, right? But what's going to happen is you're going to end up with, if the light backs up too far, it's just not going to be beautiful anymore. What we want is for her face to be lit up nice, and then the body to also be lit, but even. So we're going to take our two umbrellas. If I had another translucent umbrella, it would be better, but better if they matched. Probably should just use the shorty stand, right? So I'm going to use a short stand.
Well, you can drop, I guess, the arm.
I could flip it around the other way, but I think I'll just.
You can use the actual stand itself that you get.
Oh yeah, there you go. Thank you. I will use the actual stand instead of me cheating with C-stands all the time. Like some kind of C-stand cheater.
Cheater.
And let's just note that all my C-stands.
Yes, and we're all using, well, Seth pushed all of my C-stands to the back.
That's where they belong.
They're all Seth stands. They are. Thank you, good sir. All right, so again, this is a silver, and, and there may be times where you want a silver umbrella or a diffusive umbrella in different positions on your subject like this. I'm a little concerned about a shadow, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, those are some small umbrellas.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna more or less make a single source here as best as we can. Then we're gonna work from here. So let's get the camera into a position that I can get a, oh wow, we're going vertical. Okay. So typically when we're shooting a full-length shot, that one over there? I don't think so. Shouldn't be. Typically when we're making a full-length shot, we want to put the camera roughly at waist height of the subject, if possible.
It's on. It's engaged.
It is. What's that supposed to be?
I just don't want you to be like, what happened? You're going to do it now.
That's A, right?
That's C. It says C on it.
Okay. No, it's fine. Cool. I will turn it off.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Chill.
A.
Look at this guy.
All right, so A is the silvered umbrella off, and B is the diffusive umbrella off. Let me turn it back on. I'm going to set B, I'm going to do one light at a time, as usual. Okay, so B, which is that guy, is going to be the light that is going to light. Obviously, the floor and stuff is not looking really great. We're not set up for a full. I'm going to use a silver because that's what I got.
No, B is silver.
B is the translucent. No. Yeah, B is the translucent. Yeah, B is translucent. Okay. So it's in TTL. That's only one light is firing right now, in theory. That is the B light, which is a translucent umbrella. So let's shoot that first. Okay. That's not terrible. Just hold on. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's not terrible in and of itself, but we can see that it's not completely even down her body. Right? Her face is lit nicely up to about here, and then we see it drops off. So now we're going to add I'm just going to physically turn these off because it says they're not firing, but I just want to make sure. Okay. So let's do it one more time. All right, so I'm in TTL. I'm just shooting the translucent umbrella. Bam, not bad, right? Good. Now I'm going to turn that one off. That is B. I'm turning it off. I'm going to turn A on, which is basically the one on her legs. Again, TTL. Oop. Nope, because I turned it off. Here. Yeah, A. That's A. Let's see what happens. Nice. All right, so we've got A, which is lighting up. It's picking off the floor, which is kind of interesting. Okay. You know what? This is not bad. I was just kind of seeing the position. I'm going to actually come here now, and I'm going to turn B back on. And they're both in TTL 00. I guess I'm just going to leave it there, because we'll see where we can go from this. All right. So now the only issue here, I probably shouldn't, the silver umbrella is a bit much. We're getting that shadow kicking up because of the floor and the silver umbrella. I probably better should put the silver at top. I wouldn't want to put the silver as my main, like, up top light because it's just so harsh, but I feel like that's...
I would swing the translucent around to lighter and then kick the other one off the floor.
The silver umbrella comes with the sock.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I know, right? Cool. All right. But yeah, you might be right about kicking it off the floor, but let's just see. The translucent umbrella is actually doing a fantastic job at lighting her, to be honest. It's just the silver really we're just using as a fill in a lot of ways. And it's a bit harsh. The thing with the, oh, I should have put the stand through the, ugh, okay. These socks are, as you know. So the way this works, comes with it, is we're going to actually put, okay, yeah, go ahead, sorry. So I'm going to, let me pull this out so we can show it. So basically you got this sock thing, and what we want to do is, there's like a zipper on it, and a little pull. So this way we've got it essentially in front of the light like this. Yeah, then we go like this. We'll push this in there. There we go. Good, good, good. What's that? Yeah, it has like a little lip that goes around, and kind of a little points stick in. It's very nice little setup here. I probably shouldn't have tightened that until I got this on here. So what this is going to do is create kind of a more diffused light, obviously. It doesn't make the light softer. It makes it more diffused. But it's not just the diffusing of the light that I want here. This silver, because it's kind of a mirrored silver, is really like throwing light in a lot of spots. I kind of want the light to be more even. So I'm going to actually bring it up here. I am going to back it up a tiny bit too, because I wasn't in love with the way the shadow was being thrown. And I want to make sure it's not going to kick too much off the floor. So I'm going to actually, which I wouldn't normally slide a light up a little bit, but I think I'm actually going to bring it up like this. I think it's enough. And I'm going to raise this one up a smidge as well. And it is slightly behind it, but that's okay. I'm kind of working them over a little bit. And we're in TTL. Let's see what we get. There we go. That helped a lot, right? We still have that shadow on the background, but what's that? It's definitely hot, yeah, but I'm just trying to get it even. All right, so at this point, the whole thing's a little bit bright. So I'm going to go in TTL. A is the silver umbrella. I'm going to turn this one down, set 0.7. B is the regular light. I'm turning that down 0.3. So I'm basically just turning them both down, the silver more so than the other. There we go. And again, we have a shadow, but you're going to have that with somebody so close to the background. But we can definitely see that, well, I probably should get it in focus too. It's important to actually focus the camera. Let me do another one. Cool. All right, so we can see that the light is even, how do you, I'm trying to slide this around, is nice and even over her whole body. And again, if you were doing this for like a catalog or something, you're going to try to give yourself more space so you don't get that shadow back there. But with two lights, we can get a nice even light by stacking them. We're effectively making one large light source by putting the two lights together. And they could be anywhere. I mean, I kind of put them off to the side to make it relatively even, but we could cheat it a little bit. Bring this one more to the front, this one more to the back. As long as we're getting even coverage. Let's do one more. Good. You know, now we've got like a bit more of an even shadow there. Yeah. And what we can actually do here, because you know, you can never leave well enough alone.
Not Daniel.
Nope. We can bring this light in.
Whew.
And you're going to work this way with your face and work that way there.
Yeah.
And we can actually give ourselves that is the C light. We turn it on.
Yeah. You might have to throw a diffuser on that too.
What's that?
You might have to throw a diffuser on that too.
We might have to throw a diffusion on this one too, but we'll see. This is not being used as a fill or anything. What I'm going to actually try to do is I might put the grid on this. What I'm going to try to do is make her face stick out a little bit more. Because right now it's even, but sometimes even is not what you want. Her foot's cut off a little bit, but yeah. Now we've got nice even light down the side of her. Right? I'm a little low on her too, but we've got nice even light down the side of her, and then her face has some light as well. I think I'm going to come up a tiny bit, too. I feel like I'm a little low on you. Like you got tall or something. Marissa got tall on me.
Would you use a strip light if you had one?
Yes, if I had a long strip light, that would be another thing I could use. When I'm doing full-length stuff, my general setup for a full-length shot is not going to be this. It's going to be probably like a V-flat or something like that, where I can bounce two lights into it to create a big even swash coming forward instead of using the umbrellas. It's just easier to balance it that way. But I often do add another light like I have here just to give a little kick to the face because you want that little separation, right? Yeah. Try not to stick your chin up because we're below you. So chin down, yeah.
Yeah, she.
Your chin, okay, good. And we definitely want to be aware of that, right? That we're below her, so we don't want her to be putting her chin up because everything will be amplified.
Oh, it's wide.
Yeah. And let me just get a better background so let's care about the background. All right, I'm gonna back up a little bit. Let's get one framed up. For you kids that like the full length shots.
You crazy kids.
She keeps sticking. Go back a little bit if you're gonna stick your leg really forward. Okay.
Like this?
Yep, that's fine. Marissa likes to figure out how much room.
I have been hurt.
Yeah, no. Marissa likes to figure out how much room is in the shot and then take up just that much more. She's like, where's the frame? Oh, okay. All right, so we can definitely shoot full length by making it balanced. That's basically how you would do it with this kit. I mean, I added the extra light because I had it. If you didn't have that, you would have been fine. You could have added a reflector over here. That all works as well. All right, cool, nice. I like that. Anything else? Any questions that we want to address? If not, well, let's make one more kind of, what's up?
What if the short one is on the opposite side?
What if the short one was on the opposite side? Well, then you would have one half of her lit on the bottom and one half lit on the top, which would probably not really work, at least not in my opinion. You could do it. I mean, it would depend on if, as long as the short one didn't throw light up into her face to make it awkward, and you were okay with it being lit like that, then, I mean, it's not impossible to light that way. You could also put them both in front. You could do something like this. I mean, the options are out there, right? The idea is just that when we start doing this, right, what you get is her lit in two spots, and you might get what's called crossed shadows, and crossed shadows generally look bad. Well, your crossed shadows are generally going to look bad. You want, ideally, for all of your shadows to go in the same direction. That makes it feel more real. And when people look at images where the shadows are crossed, a lot of times they don't even know why it feels weird or wrong, but that's the reason why. So generally you want your shadows to primarily come from the same direction. Which is why if you put a hair light on the opposite side, which some people do, including myself, you want to make sure that that doesn't throw shadows forward against the key lights, because then it looks weird.
Yeah, don't throw shade.
Right, right, don't throw shade, exactly. You know what, since we put this diffuser on, let's do one more shot, and we'll take the silver light again, because I really like the silver punchy umbrella, and let's make that our key light, and let's make a nice little portrait with this one. And we'll wrap up there. All right, so. Would these be a good upgrade from speedlights? Yeah, I think so, for sure. You know, you're looking at battery powered, which is very convenient, as well as the fact that they're way more powerful. You know, modeling lights, there's a lot of advantages to these lights over speed lights. Speed lights are great for many things. Come like right to the foot of the stand. A little closer. This way.
Oh, like the middle of this one?
Yeah, just step this way. There you go. Do not fear the light, Marissa. Boy, we're shooting vertical and full length today.
Ooh.
Nice, you actually have to move the tripod for a change.
Oh my God.
Maybe
Got to use my tripod. All right.
That's like the most shallow octave in history. Look at it.
It does look like the shallow, right? Okay. All right. Cool. There we go. All right. That's very voguey. All right, I'm just getting a baseline. Oh. All right, that was how I set it up perfectly. No. Right, we're just getting a baseline. It's a little open. That is one issue with umbrellas, right? Is they throw the light everywhere, whereas your parabolic is a little bit more kind of, it's not really focused, but it's a little more contained. So if we're going to do this, I want to move this guy back. You can always tell when we're getting close to the end because this is the light that I do.
I know. It's a great one.
This is like,
I'm gonna do this.
no matter what, you are never getting through one of these without me doing this. All right, so we're going to bring this back this way. This is short lighting, but it takes a long time to get there. Boom, boom. I'm firing both the lights. I am in TTL. There we go. That is nice.
I've never seen you put the light at this angle.
Nope, never before have I done this.
This is
I've never done this before.
this is so special. It feels so privileged.
All right. Okay. Don't fault me.
Don't fault you what? This is how you're gonna close out the year? Typical?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I could take a little tiny softbox and put it right here.
You know what?
All right, there we go. I'm getting closer to where I want exposure-wise. Okay, so now it's just a matter of manipulation of a couple of things. I'm gonna take this light, open it real close. Now that I'm vertical, I can do that. So I just want to get kind of a sweeping hair light across. I am just making up words. You use words. All right. That's good. There it is. So I'm actually underexposed, guys. Because remember, when TTL is facing away, I think that silver umbrella is still a little bit, it's a little too punchy. When TTL is coming from the back, oftentimes you've got to adjust. So I flattened the light, okay? It was coming at an angle like this. Remember that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflectance. So I want to turn the light so that if it's hitting her forehead, it's bouncing off. I want to direct that angle slightly away. That way I'm not getting as much brightness. Not changing the exposure or the power. I'm just changing the reflectance. There we go. That should even it out. Still a bit bright there, but the exposure is actually correct. And I'm going to have you actually turn into it slightly. There we go. Oh, this time, oh God. I'm actually seeing you blink now. There we go. That's the pre-flash, yeah. Yeah, this is nice. You know, I'm going to move myself physically this way. Okay. good. There we go. Oh, all right, that's good.
Got the glass eye.
Yeah, let me just look this way.
I've seen such patterns from Daniel.
I never do this.
Well, not from like a 3-foot actor like that.
There we go. So you can see in here the hair light. I moved it in real close. So it's like wrapping around the hair, just making it real subtle. And I'm trying to get this exposure to be up a little bit, but still darker than the key. I don't want it to be like oosh in your face. Oosh. This right here is still feels a little bit bright on your forehead. Your forehead is bright.
Your forehead has the brightness of 1,000 suns. Men radiate.
Okay. There we go. Good. 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 There we go. All right. Backed up a tiny bit to get a little more body in there. And we've got this nice shape. Again, simple umbrellas. And you can do the thing that I always do. If you want to do this shot, you can do this with umbrellas. I actually feel like I want to swatch the umbrellas. Just one more. For me, for my taste, that silver umbrella is really a bit punchy for this shot. I actually like it a lot for some things.
It's really flat, like it's just such a wall, I think.
Yeah. It's got a little bit more specularity than I care for the key in this direction, but I think it'll be nice for the hair. So we'll just swap them. It's easy enough to do. Yeah. All right, I'm just gonna swap those two for a second. I'm gonna take this guy, go like this. Good have you. Go ahead. All right, we're turning off the overheads. Okay, good. Very nice. Cool. So I switched to the I'm actually bouncing into the shoot through, which makes it kind of extra. Oh, that's the problem with doing that.
You can see it happening.
Yeah, I can see the edge of it. All right, so I can't do that.
It's actually, it could be cool if you position it right.
Yeah.
Like a 50-50 kind of like an ad kind of look.
Yeah.
He loves that stuff.
Creating a geometric pattern on the background. There we go. All right, your hair is fiery. Now the reason why the exposure is all over the place now is because I swapped my two lights. So I gotta just look at my exposures. Let's see. A I have minus, okay, so I've got minus 1.3. So I'm gonna change A, which is the silver light, to minus 2.3. I'm going down to stop. And I'm gonna give a stop of light to the B light, which is my key light. The B light is my key light. There we go. Now I've got it where I want it. Yeah. You see how that's just a little bit more even? That's because your silver umbrellas are always going to be, even if you put a diffuser in front of it, it's always going to have this like specularity that's going to pop. So a diffuser helps, it brings it down a little bit if you're trying to, you know, get a little bit more diffuse, but it's not going to be the same as a diffused umbrella. A diffused umbrella is always going to be way more diffused than a silver umbrella with diffusion in front of it.
Yeah.
All right, if there's no further questions from the audience, we'll leave it there. We're back January something. And I'll put some stuff on my socials if you follow me there. Daniel Norton, photographer. This is Marissa Europa. Last X Witness. Don't forget to go to adorama.com/create no matter what to see the contest. Win yourself a Panasonic kit worth like $3,000 and see the shot that we did, which was. Oh, I'm going to show you the product page. If you want to see this kit, basically everything except for the remote that we used and the easy peasy box is here, part of this kit. It comes with a backpack, which is pretty nice. You can throw the stands on the outside of the backpack, carry it around, very cool. And yeah, I mean, I think this is a good kit for somebody starting out, somebody upgrading from speed lights, somebody coming from constant lights, somebody who doesn't have any lighting at all. It's going to be a good kit, or even somebody who has studio lighting that's not battery powered. So, all right, cool.
Yeah, you good?
I'm good. Thanks, guys. Have a great holiday season, and I will see you after the new year. Oh, no, we're going to stand.
I can't get out.
Can't get out. We're just going to have to stay. We're staying, guys. This is it. We're not leaving.